Alright, so Green-Black Elves, we've been playing this archetype a ton. If you follow my Modern content, this is one of kind of my go-to competitive Modern deck of choice. I think it's a pretty good mix of linear and consistent. I've had a couple of Scavenging Oozes in the main deck for a while now, and I've had a couple of Surgical Extractions in the sideboard for a little bit that have been kind of mediocre. They come in like against exactly Dredge. And I've kind of wanted another piece of card advantage in this deck for like the Jund and the blue-white matchups. So I've shuffled the Scavenging Ooze 2-3 to the sideboard so I can fit 2 Viviens in the main deck. And then we've got all 3 Scoozes on the board, and I've given up the Surgical Extraction of the 75 basically. This card is kind of another Lead the Stampede-esque effect. She can just like find 2 creatures right away, or she can find one, uptick, and then find another. This card seems especially good against like sweeper effects, because a lot of sweeper effects are sorcery speed, so we can play our elves out like at their end step, or like hold up company but also be holding up other things. More effects like this let us dig deeper into that, kind of give us more density on our elves that like really matters, so we're going to find those more consistently. And of course this deck has a ton of 1-mana accelerants, so we can pretty consistently turn to Champion of the Wilds, which is neat. So I think Champion of the Wilds is probably going to be pretty good for us against like blue-white control, while also being reasonable against things like Jund and green-black. Morning, Eyes. Morning, Marty. So there's a non-zero chance that Vivien's worse than just playing Lead the Stampede, but I wanted to at least give her a try and see how it feels. Sounds great. We'll be playing the 8 Pyro build. You can always see what decks I'm playing today and what cards they are playing by checking out the deck queue on my website. It has approximate configurations. Always try to stay organized around here so people know what to expect. Could be Infect, could be an Elf Mirror. Probabilistically, probably Infect Hardened Scales. Okay, yep, could be that too. We got a couple of Collector Ouphes in our sideboard, which should be really good in this matchup. Go nice and wide here to start. It's a good die roll to win. This is Modern, so winning die rolls is generally a good thing to be. Hey, Tig Crims, thanks for the half a year of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Hope you're having a good one wherever you are. No second land for them. Well, that was an absurd draw. That was an absurd draw. So we get to do this. We get to do this. We get to do this into this into Collected Company. And I could like wait and do this at their end of turn. It doesn't really matter, and this lets me not take a damage to do it. Alright, so Shaman trigger, deal you 9, go. Yeah, that's true. The card advantage that Vivien generates is not exposed to like Thoughtseize and stuff like that. So this deck is very consistent turn 4 kills. So that was our 3rd turn. Opponent missed their 2nd land drop. We're playing a good Modern deck, so they don't really have time to fumble around and miss land drops. This is a matchup where Vivien is not good. So the Scavenging Oozes, Vivien, Lead the Stampedes, these are kind of like the 4 flex slots in this archetype that pretty much get boarded out pretty frequently for whatever is better out of the sideboard, unless you're playing a grindy matchup. So you get to board in the Collector Ouphe, a couple of Rec Sages. I think I'm in the market for some Dismembers in this matchup. I feel like that's probably not a card I would hate to draw. Taking Walking Ballista off the table is pretty good. It also lets us kill Inkmoth Nexus if they try and go in on that plan. Especially on the draw, I think I want some of these. Clancaller's like 2 mana and dies to Walking Ballista, removing 1 counter, so I think I want the Dismembers. No, you never cut 1 mana accelerants in this deck. Your 1 mana cards never board out. I think of Choke in the sideboard here. As always, my card recommendation response is, why would I want to play that card? What problem does my deck have that's being solved by it? What do I want to cut, and why do I want to cut that card? Well, this hand would like a second land if this elf dies, but double Collector Ouphe Reclamation Sage is definitely worth keeping here. Oh, we're in general chat. That's why we keep getting bad lazy questions. Let's fix that. Let's fix that, shall we? Sure. I think I just play Archdruid here. Like, in order to kill the Archdruid, they need to have, like... No, they can't even do it, right? I would say they need Hardened Scales, Land, Ballista for 2, but Damping Sphere is symmetrical. This card is not very good against us. That's one of the reasons why we're able to play it in our sideboard as well. Sure. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and Collector. No, I'm just gonna play Archdruid again here, I think, and pass. This gives him an activation on the Steel Overseer, but I think that's fine. I think I just want to get my mana going here. Hey, Evan, thanks for the 10 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Yeah, our deck just has a ton of mana producers. This is actually a pretty common thing I see people do. So, like, I'm not super surprised to see it be something that someone's boarded in, but I definitely don't think it's a particularly good card to bring in against us. So, if I elf, this now makes 3. If I elf again, this now makes 4. And then we'll cast the Collector. I wonder if we'll see him move in on the Ink Moth. Because they could sack... They might just try and 2-turn clock us with the Ink Moth here. If they sack this and sack this, they can move over to here. That lets me draw Dismember as an out. But yeah, maybe it might have been wrong to play this last turn. Yeah, I think I messed this game up. I think we're probably gonna lose this race now. And it's because I wasn't aggressive enough. Hey, thanks for the primer shot. I appreciate that. Welcome. Punk Count Infinity coming in hot for the 38th month and for the tier 3 sub at that. Bant Eldrazi, 10 out of 10. Yeah, that one's great. I have to draw exactly Dismember here, so yeah, I definitely messed this game up. I think we had a hand that was pretty hard to lose if I sequenced correctly, and I got greedy and made a bad play. You had 5 mana there. You could have Ouphe'd and then Rec Sage. No, that wasn't an option, Burgle, because they had Damping Sphere. Yeah, Sphere stops that line. Yeah, we're dead. I messed that up. Should have. Our hand was very good, and I let the fact that, like, I didn't respect the Ink Moth enough in the context of the rest of my hand. Should have respected the Ink Moth more. If we didn't let them get the Ink Moth going, like, there's just no way they could beat how good our hand was. So I should have put more respect on the Ink Moth Nexus, I think. Yeah, I'm just gonna run it back. I think I'm pretty happy with how we sideboarded here. And just play better and we'll win more. Well, I had 2 lands, which is 2 mana. And then Elvish Mystic was a 3rd mana, and then Elvish Archdruid was mana 4/5. So I had 5 mana total there. This hand's not amazing, but like this is like a 6 I'm interested in keeping if I like get rid of one of these lands. So generally speaking, you don't mulligan turn 2 Archdruid. part of me wonders, I was thinking when I was sideboarding, it's possible that, like, these Lead the Stampedes or, like, 2 Viviens are, like, better than... Oh, God. I would love to draw a Collector, huh? Are possibly better than the, Are possibly better than, like, the 2 copies of Elvish Clancaller I have. It's a Reclamation Sage. I guess we just do that. Let's go ahead and kill their thing here. Their hand is good. If they have a good hand, we're probably going to have a hard time here. Our hand is just like a little below average. I think it was still keepable, but it's definitely on the below average side of the scale. I think I actually trade here. Because, like, 1 less creature in play is 1 less counter they're getting per turn with Steel Overseer. And, like, my Reclamation Sage, like, really isn't accomplishing a whole lot. It's just going to trade next turn, so might as well trade now. Probably did here. Drew another land that wasn't a thing. Shouldn't have messed up the second game. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I guess we're not strictly dead. Cause, like, if they want to trade, they have to trade this for this. All right, that's that one's gonna be good enough for me. Yeah, so pretty classic example there of maybe I should mulligan this hand. I don't know. I think it's like the low end of keepable, but I definitely missequenced the second game there and could have won if I just played my Ouphe on 3 instead of deciding to play another Archdruid and giving them a turn to get their Inkmoth online. Didn't respect Inkmoth enough and got thoroughly punished for it in the second game. Onward, upwards, backward, forward. Do. It's funny. I've been toggling sub-only chat off when we've been doing the Underlord streams. And I intentionally left it off this morning just to, like, you know, see if things were different or if things had changed. Just, like, it took all of 6 minutes for, like, people to start shouting bad card suggestions with no justifications. Just like, oh, right. This is just how Twitch chat always works. Ooh, Tribal Mirror. I bet this matchup's pretty okay for us. Our deck is pretty linear, and they don't have a ton of interaction. It's a good start for them. They have their acceleration here. Definitely don't want to trade here. If they have a removal spell for Archdruid and also add to the board, we could be in trouble here. If they don't kill the Archdruid, we should be set up to run them over, though. No, this is match 2, game 2. Match 2, game 1, whatever. Matron, yep. I don't know, it happens to a lesser degree in sub-only mode in Nivik, and I think part of that is because, like, people who are inclined to give me money are, like, probably ones that have stuck around long enough to be accustomed to the culture here and a lot of the expectations. And you're right, it definitely happens on occasion, but I think it's more the exception than the norm in sub-only mode. Alright, so I do this, we name Elf, we play Clancaller, we activate Archdruid, we play Archdruid Clancaller. Not a bad turn. Pretty decent turn 3. They had their acceleration was really cute, don't you think? Hey, they played 2 cards that let them accelerate, chat. Welcome to Thunderdome. I'm just here for the cumulative variance of a flat shuffle. Yep. I mean, like, there's definitely nothing wrong with not having all the answers, right? Like, no one has all of the answers. But just, like, if you want to make suggestions, just, like, put the teensiest bits of effort into, like, what we're suggesting and why. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 elves. 7 elves is perfect. Because it lets me do this. And then it lets me do this to get this. Now, I do need to not die by mistake here, because this lets them sacrifice goblins to make us lose one and them gain one. So every goblin they put into play now is basically a drain. So we're hitting them for 14 here. That's fine. So we have 4 blockers for the backswing. If they have a Siege Gang Commander here, am I dead? Siege Gang Commander. They can go Matron into Siege Gang here. But is that lethal? Do we have 6 Lords in play? 1, 2, 3, 4. We do have 6 Lords in play. And we're going to fetch a 7th here in a second. So Matron finds any goblin out of their deck and puts it into their hand. Are we dead to another Siege Gang Lieutenant? I'm not sure that we are. We block 1, 2, 3, and then we take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7, 8, 9. We might be dead to Siege Gang Lieutenant, actually. Hey, Joe Hef. Thanks for the half-year support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. And we might actually be dead here. Yeah, so they're not attacking with that. I block 1, 2, 3, and then I take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, well, we're actually dead. That's unfortunate. I guess we should have won the die roll, huh? Is there a Greenbrack Dredge style deck in the standard queue? Not that I'm aware of, Mage. Yeah. Yeah, flag, Frog Tosser plus War Chief. We should have killed them before they got here, huh? So even if we do this, I'm still taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then they have at least 8 goblins to sacrifice here. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yep. Woof. Got out lineared. And this is why, even though this is my modern deck of choice, like, I don't really play modern. I don't play much Magic competitively anymore, but even when I do modern is not my preferred competitive format. The format's a lot of just, like, firing up your NASCAR and, like, hoping it's fast enough. No, we've not played any of the Urza decks yet. As always, you can find everything that we streamed on my website, my YouTube channel. You can click videos and then modern, or videos and then favorites. Every modern deck we stream goes on the modern page, though. A mic in particular, you recommend. I use a Blue Yeti. Most things are fine. I think most people overstate the difference between, like, a headset mic and like a better one. Tier 2s can bump a deck in the queue by 10 points, but they cannot add new ones. As always, all the details on how to submit a deck and what you get with the different benefits on the different sub-tiers can be found here on the site. I do stick by that I'd expect our deck to be favored on average in this matchup, because like my opponent killed us on turn 5 there, which is probably one of their faster goldfish draws through blockers. And our deck definitely kills on, sometimes 3, usually 4. Opponent had just too many blockers for us to be able to kill them on 4 that last game, unfortunately. We didn't hit one of our Ezuris to be able to give our squad trample. Turn 2 Archdruid on the plate. Not a whole lot you can ask for more than that. Maybe for it to live. Hoping it lives is a good secondary ask. Our turn 3 will be playing all of these cards out if we get to untap with this. Yep, deal. Ooh. Go. And then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 here. So like next turn, we'll play Clancaller, activate Clancaller. Just, yep. Opponent was not on the opponent was on the draw. Just not fast enough. So we were on the draw and we almost won. They were on the draw and didn't have a chance. So I think I'm happy that I boarded. I don't think enough creatures die in combat for Scavenging Ooze to be good here. I don't think they have any one specific goblin I care enough to kill about to bring in Dismember, so they can attack Vivien, so it doesn't seem particularly good here. Like I said, I think there's a good chance that, like, I should have 4 Lead the Stampedes in the main and then probably board the Viviens where the extra 2 leads were. When I'm testing a card, though, I generally like to start it in the main deck if it's kind of a neutralish card, just so I have a better chance to draw it over the course of sets, though. But even if Vivien is good, I would expect I probably want her in the sideboard. I mean, the biggest problem with Historic Rook Jackson is that you don't even have to try it, because it's literally just the standard format. So, like, once we know what this standard format looks like at the end of things, we know what Historic's going to look like. That's the problem with that's the biggest disappointing part of the Historic announcement. Is that, like, it's not something that's going to take, there's no exploration. Like, sure, we're going to add 1 more set to it, but, like, adding a 9th set to a format that already had 8 sets isn't going to change that much. That's where the large amount of disappointment comes from. It's possible I should have led on this as opposed to Elves of Deep Shadow, just because the way my hand was set up, this is actually a little bit worse than this, unless we rip, like, exactly Dwynen's Elite here. Lead the Stampede. Alright. I think we're just playing Archdruid. If they have a second piece of interaction, we're probably going to be a little slow here. But if they don't have a second piece of interaction, we're going to be set up pretty well to do stuff next turn. They did say that, and then they backpedaled on it in the announcement. Brutal. I said if they haven't set a second piece of interaction, we're going to be in a little bit of trouble, so. As always, if there's something we're talking about that you feel out of the loop on, there's probably a command for it to help explain and get you in the loop. I'm actually just going to go ahead and block here. Is the bot dead this morning? That's annoying. Alright, well, I'm going to put a 2-2 into play. Having a 2-2 on this board seems good. Nurturing Peatland, thoroughly reminding us that, like, these lands are not free and do cost us games of Magic. They have 0 cards in hand, so, you know, if they draw average from here, we're going to be in a favorable spot. If they draw Goblin Ringleader, we're going to die horribly, because Magic's a game with an incredible amount of variance in it. I'm going to go ahead and concede, because they hit 2 good ones there. That's, you know, That's usually how my this is how my variance goes when I play actual tournaments. Like, I make a small mistake to lose a match, and I lose a match because I messed up. Then the next round, you like play a matchup that's good and just get completely ranched by just like the worst luck. It's the game's way of telling you, hey, you probably shouldn't have messed up, and then you wouldn't be here to get unlucky. Morning, Blaza. What was Saffron Olive's take on Historic Nivik? It is, that's exactly what it is. It was the least amount of effort. The historic announcement was literally, we have to technically give you something to do with your rotated cards, but we don't actually want you to be able to do anything meaningful with them, so here's this thing that technically satisfies the condition, but in actuality doesn't really give anyone anything that they wanted. Another matchup where Nurturing Peatland is a tough nut. Also another matchup where Vivien, Champion of the Wild, does not look particularly good. I'm actually going to lead on Elves of the Deep Shadow here, because I think there's a good chance whatever Accelerant I play on one ends up eating it anyways, so I think I'd rather play the one that hurts me to die. Kitchen Table Arena looks to be more fun, to be honest, until you don't have people to play with. Herky cute. Like, Kitchen Table Arena is less likely to have people to play with. And, like, if you give it a queue that's meaningful to incentivize people to play, then all of a sudden it stops being Kitchen Table because people, well, suddenly have a reason to actually play it. As we said, first elf played, very likely to die. So we're taking 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 here. They have one card left, likely dead. That was my opponent's second turn, by the way. Killed my play and attacked me for 7, plus bolting me. Not only could they have drawn in a lot of disgruntled Modern players, Tony, but they could have drawn in a bunch of people who have been like ignoring Arena up until this point because they just like don't want to play a rotating format. But like are constructed players. Yeah, I agree, Gebja. Definitely a solid showing of like, welcome to Modern, enjoy your stay. The old post-combat trigger my prowess, God bless. Thanks for that, thanks for the extra hit point. Snapbolt Snap, thanks for the 16 months, I appreciate that, welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. They discarded a Bedlam Reveler. I guess there's only 3 cards in their bin, so maybe they couldn't cast that yet. Drawing a land that doesn't hurt me here is pretty good for us. So I'm gonna go ahead and cast Archdruid, and then I'm gonna cast Ezuri, and then we're gonna block Monastery Swift Spear and die to a Lightning Bolt, or a Lava Spike. Oh, they discarded a Lava Spike, right? So we're just, like, almost certainly dead here. Hey, thanks for the 7 months, Brutzy. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Is Modern as a format growing at all? I mean, I don't know that we have, like questions like that should be answered with data. I'd prefer just, like, we say, hey, we don't have data, and let's, like, not speculate. Because there's really no reason to, like, make baseless speculations when we don't have information to draw conclusions. As expected, we have died. Now, it's actually worth noting here that if this had been a Scavenging Ooze, we might have actually been okay here. Probably not. We were on the draw and probably just going to die anyways, but, you know, there's a chance it could have been okay. I'm going to cut the Lead the Stampedes and the Viviens and these Ezuris, I think, and board in Scavenging Ooze and Damping Sphere here. Would Vivien's Plus have protected us there? No. They'd have just attacked with both creatures, and then they would have lightning bolted us to trigger prowess. We cast the Lord that turn. We cast Lord Ezuri that turn. We were on the draw, and our opponent's linear deck was faster than our linear deck. Reach across the table and shake your opponent's hand, because that's how the format works. Enjoy your stay. Yeah, it's a real shame if Shaman gained life. God, this card's already absurd, but like, we'd like never lose these aggro matchups if this card gained life. That would be so nuts. Hey, at least we didn't get gut shot in. You know, glass half full here. Things are looking up for the home team here. Got a bunch of Shamalamans. We got five elf friends in play. We get to play some 3/2s that fireball the opponent here next couple of turns. I mean, honestly, I was hoping Historic would be more than it is for selfish reasons, just because I was looking forward to like having less Magic online in my schedule come fall, but like there's no way I can do just Arena with only one constructed format. Just like not feasible for me. Wow, are they throwing away their only land to kill both my guys? That's rude. Oh, they have another land. Got it. Can I draw a land, please? Alright, I'm off this deck. I know I said I like this deck, but after my punt into just like 2 Rancid matches in a row, I'm gonna move on to the next one. Ready to be done with it? Just not having fun. Hopefully a Zentoth. One can hope. As far for people that were hoping for meaningful conclusions on this card, even if we had a good run, I wouldn't have meaningful conclusions on this card, but like I said when we started, even if this card is good, it probably belongs in the sideboard, and these other leads or the Scoozes probably belong in the main. I mostly had these in my main deck today in case we hit Junder Blue-White, so I could like have a better chance to draw them in the set to like get a better feel for the card when we actually have it, but I wouldn't be surprised if this card is good in the 75, but I'd be very surprised if it ends up being good in the main. At any rate, I'm gonna go ahead and move along to the Mardu Pyromancer deck for the day because that run was kind of frustrating and don't really feel like playing